And picks the up, 3-1 to count. And Russell catches the corner, loads up the count, 3-2. Here goes foul. Keeps the count the same at 3-2. Oh, Mays with the base on ball, doesn't bring up Savannah Steck. And stolen base for May. 2-0 to count. And time is called. You know the count. Down at first base. Runner advances to third. That's going to be out number 1. That's going to bring up Caitlin Conley to the plate. One away. So Conley draws a base on ball, puts runners on the corner. That's going to bring up number 22nd baseman, Katie Crow. Sorry, man.
Good afternoon, Rattler fans. Brian Magliuan here inside the softball stadium at the park at St. Mary's University for day one of the Rattler Invitational. Right now, the Rattlers taking on Tarleton State University. One out here in the top of the first inning. Just came over from field number 2 where play just concluded. The battle of the Texas A&M's. A&M International defeating A&M Commerce 4-1 over at field number 2. Rattlers playing in their first game of this weekend tournament as that one is fouled back by Crow. 1-2 now the count. In the circle for the Rattlers is freshman Hope Russell. Russell 6-0 so far this season. Rattlers as a team 11-1, coming off a victory this past Wednesday over Our Lady of the Lake. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Russell. That one grounded over to Villa at second. And the double play is not turned. The force out is made, however, at second. And that's 2 away.
That's going to bring a number 23 to the plate.
And on that previous play, it was not Villa, it was Hannah Michael, who's playing second today for the Rattlers. As that first pitch from Russell's in there, called strike 1. Let's meet the Rattler lineup. In the outfield, you have Vidrine playing over at left, Nash at center, and Fields over at right. Sardelich covering the third base line, Medina at short, Michael at second, Haley Richter over at first, and doing the catching for the Rattlers is number 22, A-Rod Alex Rodriguez. Nika Wood now at the plate for the Texans. That one fouled away.
One and two count.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one grounded right back to Russell, who fields it and throws it over to first. And that retires the side. Tarleton State able to score a run here. They lead 1-0. Rattlers look to respond. Bottom of the first coming up right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the first about to get underway. Leading off for the Rattlers is third baseman Nicole Sardelich. First pitch to Sardelich. Breaking ball in there for strike one. Brian Maglio on here calling the action from the park at St. Mary's University. A busy day here for Rattler sports. Just across the street, Rattler baseball in action over at Dixon Stadium. We'll bring you updates as the day progresses. You could catch that game on the Rattler Network too, as our very own Joe Rodriguez is calling the game over there. Sardelich turns on one, and good diving snag over at center by Mays. And that is out number one here in the bottom of the first.
That's going to bring up second baseman, number 0, Hannah Michael.
And that will bring up now the second baseman, Hannah Michael. First pitch in the dirt, good block. The 1-0 pitch, well outside. 2-0 now the count. Hannah Michael batting .250 on the year, making her 9th start, 10th appearance of the season. She takes that one in the dirt. Count quickly goes to 3-0. In 24 at-bats, Michael has 6 hits, scored 6 runs, and has 4 RBIs as she takes that pitch for the called strike one. 3-1 now the count. Michael grounds one to third, and the throw is in time, and that's 2 away.
That's going to bring up Taylor Madreen.
And digging in for the Rattlers now is Taylor Vadreen. And that was ruled a no pitch. So they do it over again, and the count now goes to 1-0. Vadreen on Wednesday in the home opener for the Rattlers homered in the bottom of the 6th, which put the game away for the Rattlers. A 2-run blast, securing a Rattler victory over Our Lady of the Lake. St. Mary's went on to win that game 6-2 behind homers from Haley Richter, Vadreen, and Jordan Alvarez. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. 1-2 now the count to Taylor Vadreen. Vadreen, one of the many seniors on this Rattler squad, from San Antonio O'Connor. And she did not go, so the count all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Richter. She'll see this half inning if Taylor's able to reach. The 2-2 pitch. Vadreen waits on that one, and it's over the head of the center fielder Mays, and Taylor has a 2-out double.
With 2 away. That's going to bring up first baseman number 30, Haley Richter.
Vadreen's got pretty good speed over at second as that first pitch bounces in the dirt and almost right on cue. Vadreen able to take third. Richter lets that one go as it paints the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Haley Richter. Senior from Hondo, Texas, batting .375 on the year as that one is popped high into shallow right, and it drops in no man's land, and it'll score Taylor Vadreen from third. Rattlers able to tie this one up now off a bloop shot by Haley Richter.
The right side, that's going to bring up number 10, Sydney Wellman.
And that's Richter's 12th RBI on the year as she improves her batting average. And now at the dish is Sydney Wellman. First pitch to Wellman. Just missing, 1-0. Wellman, a junior from Brenham, Texas. Previously attended Blinn Junior College. Count all even at 1 ball, 1 strike. That one bounces outside. 2-1 now the count.
2-1.
Let's meet the defensive lineup for the Tarleton State Texans. It's Powers over at left, Mays at second, rather at center, and then Conley over at right field. The infield consists of Stetch at third, Wayland at short, Crow at second, Menchaca at first, and doing the catching for Hedrick is Wood. 3-1. Off-speed pitch, able to paint the inside corner. The count all even now, all full at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Payoff pitch coming up. And that one missing, and a 2-out walk is assessed to Wellman.
And it's going to bring the shortstop number 1, Brenda Medina.
Medina now digs in for the first time today. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. That one gets past, and the runners will advance as Wood unable to keep it in front of her, and she'll call for time.
And time is called.
And as we have this break in play, an update from Dixon Stadium. St. Mary's leading the University of Mary in the bottom of the second inning, 1-0. Brooks Orton is at the plate. Al Gonzalez is over at second. 2 outs in the bottom of the second over at Dixon. You could catch that game on the Rattler Network too. Our very own Joe Rodriguez is on the call as the count goes to 2-0 here to Medina.
You know the count.
Breaking ball paints the inside corner. Count goes to 3-1. On deck is A-Rod. Nice pitch on the outside corner by Hedrick. And the count full, 3-2. Hedrick so far this season 0-1 with a 6.89 ERA. And the 3-2 pitch bounces in the dirt, and the bases are loaded for Alex Rodriguez as time is called once again. Rattler fans, we'd like to take this time out to invite you to join us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter under the handle at St. Mary's Rattlers. You can also find us on Instagram under the same handle at St. Mary's Rattlers. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/St. Mary's Rattlers.
So coming up to bat now for the Rattlers, be number 22, the catcher, Alex Rodriguez.
Here's the pitch to A-Rod, and that one in the dirt yet again, 1-0. And Hedrick struggling with her location early on. Bases loaded now. And that one paints the outside. Count all even at 1-1 This is the third game that Alex has started this year. Her 7th appearance.
Taking down 2-1 count.
A-Rod batting .200 with 2 RBIs and 5 at-bats. Breaking ball, and A-Rod able to get a piece of that one. Count all even at 2-2. Deuces across the board. Here's the 2-2 from Hedrick. A-Rod rips it to left. That one high. It is far, and it is gone. A grand slam for Alex Rodriguez. An A-bomb from A-Rod, and the Rattlers lead 5-1.
The double D's comes through with a big shot. Grand slam home run, scoring 4 for the Rattlers.
And a quick discussion by the Texans after A-Rod puts a hurting on that ball. A lined shot over the left field wall, and that will bring up Danielle Nash. A 2-out rally here for St. Mary's, who have gone up 5-1 against this Texan team. Here's the 0-1. That one low. 1-1 now the count. Here's the 1-1 from Hedrick. That one popped into the air, but foul.
As a foul back, brings count to 1-2 on Nash.
1-2 to Danielle Nash. Nash, another one of the Rattler seniors as she, good reflexes on the mound by Hedrick as she's able to dive and snag it out of the air. And that does it for the inning, but not before the Rattlers strike for 5, highlighted by a grand slam by Alex Rodriguez. We head to the top of the second. Rattlers up 5-1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Top of the second, about to get started. Brian Maglio on here, live from softball stadium inside the beautiful park at St. Mary's. Hope Russell still in the circle for the Rattlers as her first pitch is in there for strike 1. At the plate for the Texans is Michaela Stogsdill. The 0-1 from Russell, just a bit outside and a bit high. 1-1 the count. It's Stogsdill, Menchaca, and Wayland due up this half inning for the Texans, who gave up 5 runs in the bottom frame of the first. And the slap hit goes foul. 1-2 the count. Rattlers will be in action following this one. They will take on Central Oklahoma as the bunt is laid down. Sartlich throws, and it is in time as Richter able to stretch and keep it in her glove. That's one away.
To get the out, that's out number 1. Ashton ring up number 5, first baseman Erica Menchaca.
Erica Menchaca digging in now. Outside, ball 1. Menchaca batting .286 on the season, has started 10 previous games. This is her 11th start of the year. In 28 at-bats, she scored 8 runs, along with 8 hits and 5 RBIs. Here's the 2-0 from Russell, and that one finds its mark. 2-1.
2-1 count.
That one blooped over to left. Vidrine trying to track it. It hits the base of the wall, and that will get through. A 1-out double for Erica Menchaca. And that will now bring up
That's going to bring the shortstop,
Delaney Wayland. Russell deals to Wayland, and that one paints the outside part of the plate. 0-1. Sun beginning to set here in San Antonio. And Wayland went on the pitch. 0-2 now. The 0-2 pitch outside. That one fouled off the plate. Count will remain at 1-2. St. Mary's, the number 4 ranked team in the country, behind their strong start this season. As that one grounded over to Sardalich, looks at the runner at second. Richter trying to gun it back to third, but St. Mary's does get the out, and that's 2 away. And time is called. An update over at Dixon Stadium. It's the top of the 4th inning. On the mound for the Rattlers is Matt McLean. St. Mary's leading the University of Mary now 2-0. As we return to action here, Lauren Powers at the dish. She takes that first pitch, which goes wide. 1-0. Powers batting .320 on the year. Takes that pitch on the outside, this time for a called strike. 1-1. This is Powers' 12th start on the year, 13th game she's played. And that one again painting the outside. 1-2. And Russell doing a superb job of finding her location. That's the second straight pitch she's been able to get on the outside corner. That time just missing. Count all even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here at the top of the 2nd inning. Runner over at third. Russell deals. That one swung on and missed. And she struck her out. And that'll do it for the top of the 2nd. Tarleton State able to get a runner over at third, but are unable to score. Rattlers still lead 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Rattlers due up next right here on the Rattler Network.
will be the big deuce herself. Right fielder Hannah Fields.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the second. About to get started. Leading off for the Rattlers is Hannah Fields. Fields tried to lay a bunt down as it goes foul. 0-1. It'll be Fields, Sardalich, and Michael due up this half inning for the Rattlers, who are up 5-1 here in the early going. Ooh, and that one tailed high and tight. Two and one the count to Hannah. Second baseman Crow playing well inside as she's standing right next to the pitcher's circle. Three and one the count to Fields as she lofts that one towards our direction. Count now full. The 3-2 pitch. That one smacked into left center field, and that'll go for a leadoff single by Fields. Nice piece of hitting there by Hannah Fields, and that'll bring up Nicole Sardalich to the plate.
Number 15, Nicole Sardalich.
Sardalich 0 for 1. Sardalich takes that pitch. 0-1 the count. Sardalich from Angleton, Texas. A senior, as Fields able to tiptoe her way back over to first. 1-1 the count to Sardalich. We saw her sister Chrissy Sardalich in action for the Texas A&M Dust Devils. She's their center fielder, and we are likely to see the sisters go at it this Sunday as the Rattlers take on Texas A&M International. First pitch scheduled for 2 p.m. as a breaking ball finds its mark. Strike two. Sardalich pops that one high into the air, but not that far, as the left fielder Powers is able to get under it. And that's one away.
That brings up 0-0 to the plate, Hannah Michael.
Stepping up to the plate now is Michael. Michael 0 for 1. First pitch, high and outside. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Michael lays a beauty of a bunt, and she's able to beat the throw A beautifully executed bunt by Michael, and the runners advance, and it'll bring up Taylor Vidrine to the plate.
Number 19. Coming up to the plate now is number 19.
Vidrine at the dish, and we just got word, an update from over at Dixon Stadium. To end the top of the fourth inning, the Rattlers turned a triple play as they maintain their 2-0 lead over the University of Mary. As Vidrine takes the first pitch for strike one. The 0-1 pitch, Vidrine thought about laying a bunt down, but pulled it back in time. Count all even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Fields over at second, Michael over at first. Corners playing in as Vidrine was taking all the way. 1-2 now the count to Vidrine. Vidrine lifts one over to right center field. That one is high and off the wall. 1 run will score. And they wave the runner home and make it an 2 RBI double for Taylor Vidrine as the Rattlers now lead 7-1.
So Vidrine's blast to the right center field wall scores 2 more for the Rattlers. He holds up at second base. Next going to bring up first baseman number 30, Haley Richter.
And now Richter at the dish. Richter 1 for 1. Had that bloop single over to right. That scored 1. The 0-1 to Richter. Vidrine. And she's able to steal third.
Vidrine on the delayed steal gets the third.
Good heads-up base running by Taylor as the throw to second.
1-1 on Richter.
Got there in time, but Vidrine was already on her high horse to third as Richter lines one through the gap, and that'll be another RBI for Haley. Her second RBI of the afternoon. Rattlers push their lead to 7. They now lead 8-1 with Sydney Wellman at the plate. Rattlers showing why they are the number 4 team in the country with an offensive explosion here in the first 2 innings. 8-1 the score. 1 out here as Wellman takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Richter over at first. The 1-0 pitch finds its mark. 1-1 now the count. The 1-1. She waits on it. Good backhand, a potential double play, but Wellman able to beat the throw. So a force out over at second gets out number 2. But Miranda Medina now at the plate. She walked her first time up. Wellman on first. 2 outs now. Bottom of the second. Hedrick's pitch finds the plate. 0-1. Fans, a reminder, following this one, Rattlers will be taking on Central Oklahoma. First pitch for that one scheduled for 6 o'clock. But that's pending the conclusion of this one. Looks like first pitch for that one will probably be around 7, give or take, depending on how long this one takes. The 2-1 pitch to Medina is inside and in the dirt. 3-1 to Medina with A-Rod on deck. A 3-1 pitch. Medina was taking the whole way through as she watches that one go by for strike 2. Full count to the sophomore from San Antonio Southwest High School. Breaking ball hit up the middle, fielded and thrown cleanly by the shortstop Whalen. And that'll do it for the bottom of the second. Rattlers able to put 3 up on the board as they push their lead to 7. We head to the top of the third. Rattlers lead 8-1 as you're watching Rattler Softball on the Rattler Network. Top of the third inning about to get underway here. Brian Maglione with you, calling this game between the Tarleton State Texans and the St. Mary's Rattlers. Day 1 of the Rattler Invitational. First game of the weekend, these Rattlers are taking the field. In the circle for the Rattlers is Hope Russell as that one grounded over to Michael at second. And throws in time for out number 1.
That's going to bring up third baseman Savannah Steck.
First pitch outside. Savannah Stetch at the dish. Stetch 0 for 1 so far this afternoon. That pitch perfectly located. That brings the count to 1 ball, 1 strike. Shadow is beginning to creep in inside the softball stadium here at the park at St. Mary's University.
2-1 count.
This is the second year that this facility is in use. Opening in November of 2013. The 2-2 pitch from Russell is off the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Stetch. On deck is Conley. And in the hole is Crow. Here's the 3-2 from Russell, swung on and fouled back. Stetch barely able to get a piece of that one. The 3-2 pitch from Russell, and that one low and outside. And she pats herself on the chest, saying, "My bad," as she assesses the 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Conley to the plate. Conley drew a walk her first time up. And Stetch thought about taking a bag, but thought twice with A-Rod ready to gun it down the line. The 1-0 pitch from Russell, that one outside, and once again A-Rod making sure that Stetch doesn't have any ideas about possibly swiping a bag. The 2-0 pitch, that time inside, and Russell behind in the count, 3-0. The 3-0 pitch outside. A 4-pitch walk.
Gets the base on balls. Takes in the first and second.
So runners on first and second now. Conley at first, Stetch at second, and now Crow at the plate with Wood on deck. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning.
Correction, Becky Allen is your batter.
And upon further review, it is Becky Allen at the plate now. Looks like a change was made between innings, and we apologize that we weren't able to get to it. But the count now to Allen, 1-1. Runners on first and second. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2.
1-2 count.
The 1-2 pitch from Russell. Swung on and hit to Medina. And the throw to second is off target.
And runner safe at second on the throw in there.
And the runners are safe.
That's going to load up the bases for the Texans and bring up Nico Wood to the plate. What a way.
Just out of the reach of Michael over at second. Fortunately for St. Mary's, Tarleton State wasn't able to capitalize, and instead it is bases loaded with one out. As Nico Wood takes the first pitch well outside for a ball. And time is called by Rodriguez as she looks to calm Russell down just a bit. Hope Russell, a freshman from Vitter, Texas. The 1-0 pitch from Hope. That one popped into right center, giving chase. No one's going to get to it. Fields, her throw. 1 run scores, make it 2, and a 2 RBI double for Wood. Trims this Rattler lead down to 5.
And time is called.
Wood was able to hit it into the gap between Fields and Nash. And time is called once again. This time Coach Donna Fields heading out to the circle to give some words of encouragement to her young pitcher. As Stogsdill awaits on play to resume. Rattler fans, a big weekend for Rattler athletics. You have the Rattler Invitational going on this weekend. Although this day's not over, Rattlers will take on Central Oklahoma following this one. Tomorrow they will play against Tarleton State. First pitch scheduled for 2 p.m. and following that one they will play against Texas A&M Commerce. And then Sunday they will conclude the tournament as they take on Texas Women's University, and then they will conclude with a game against the Texas A&M International Dust Devils. For more information on the Rattler Invitational and all things Rattler Athletics, be sure to check out rattlerathletics.com. Runners on second and third. That one a soft grounder to Sardelich. She checks over to third. The throw, a double play, beautifully executed by the Rattlers. A 5-3-2 double play, and the Rattlers able to get out of the inning as they only allow 2 runs rather. St. Mary's leads 8-3 as you're watching Rattler Softball on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the third. About to get started. Leading off for the Rattlers, the double deuce, A-Rod. As she takes the first pitch for strike one. 0-1 the count to the senior from Eagle Pass, Texas. Rattlers lead 8-3. And that ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brian Maglione calling the action live from softball stadium inside the park at St. Mary's. A beautiful Friday afternoon here in San Antonio, Texas. A bit windy, but still nice weather for some softball, as that pitch to A-Rod is just off the plate. New pitcher coming into the game for Tarleton State. It is Ringhausen dealing to A-Rod, who in the first inning belted a grand slam to put the Rattlers up 5-1. They now lead 8-3 as the count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Three-two pitch, fouled off. That one low and inside, and A-Rod able to draw a leadoff walk as time is called. And it looks like pinch running for A-Rod is Leanne Campos. As you can see right there, nice bit of teamwork by the Rattlers, conferring, possibly talking about what pitches to expect as Nash digs in.
At first base will be number 21, Leanne Campos. Your batter coming up to bat, number 5, center fielder Danielle Nash.
Nash was showing bunt the whole way, unable to pull it back just in time. On 1 the count to Nash. Ringhausen delivers. Nash tried to lay a bunt down again, and no throws made over to first as Campos slid in safely. 0-2 now. That one outside.
Pitches wide, 1-2 count.
And an off-speed pitch. Buckled Nash, but missed its mark. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Danielle Nash. Here's the 2-2. And just got a piece of the outside, although Danielle begs to differ with the home plate umpire. And that's one away here in the bottom of the 3rd. Hannah Fields at the plate, Campos over at first. Fields able to lay a bunt down, nicely done, and she gets hit by the throw over to first. Campos will advance to 3rd. And time is called on the field. And they're saying Fields obstructed the throw. Although I'm kind of curious to see where that ruling has come from, because she ran down the line. And Coach Haley Long over down the first baseline trying to plead her case to the first base umpire. Coach Fields getting an explanation. And
runner goes back to second. That's going to be out number 2.
Campos will stay at second now with 2 outs.
That's going to bring up.
And now they're sending Campos back over to first.
She was inside the base path. Like, she was on the line. And even then,
and a bit of confusion still going on as the umpires huddle together for yet again and trying to sort all things out.
Well, I guess it's just like the ball hitting a runner, but still.
So Campos will have to step back to first. Now bring Sarlich up. A lot of confusion going on here. So Sarlich now digs in. 2 outs here. Bottom of the 3rd. Campos remains at first.
So they called her interference? They called.
First pitch. Just missing the inside. Ball 1, 1-0.
They took a runner off.
On deck is Michael.
That's right. That's right.
Sarlich 0 for 2. She awaits on the pitch from Ringhausen. That one lifted to center, and that will drop. Campos charging home, and Sarlich able to get the 2-out double RBI, and the Rattlers lead 9-3. So that long delay was essentially all for nothing. Campos originally was at 3rd, then thought she was supposed to be at 2nd, then got brought all the way back to 1st, and nonetheless was able to score off a beautifully hit ball by Nicole Sarlich, who's able to get her first hit of the afternoon. And that'll bring up Hannah Michael First pitch well outside from Ringhausen. Vidrine on deck. Michael 0 for 2. Rather, Michael 1 for 2, excuse me. She awaits the 1-0. Count all even, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Are you keeping your dad up to date? They haven't landed yet. Yeah, they get there at 6:45.
Here's the 1-1 pitch from Ringhausen. Now one chopped and fielded and thrown in time by Wayland. And that'll do it for the bottom of the third, but the Rattlers able to tack on another run. They now lead 9-3 as we head to the top of the fourth.
And after 3 complete.
Menchaca digging in for her at bat.
Correction, Erica Menchaca.
It's Menchaca, Wayland, and Powers do up this inning for the Texans as the first pitch is popped high into the air. Nash calling everyone off as she's able to make the grab, and just like that, that's one away. Brian Maglio on here. Thank you for joining me. This day one of the Rattler Invitational. Big weekend here at St. Mary's University, just across the street. Men's baseball taking on the University of Mary. Right now they are in the top of the 7th inning. Rattlers with a 2-0 lead rather, with 1 out. You can catch that game on the Rattler Network 2, as our very own Joe Rodriguez is on the call for that one. The pitch from Russell is in there. Strike 3 called. And just like that,
Number 2.
2 outs.
That's from Lauren Powers.
As Powers gets set to get... As Powers gets set to take her at-bat. First pitch, a bunt laid down. Sartledge charging at it, and Highlight play from Nicole Sarlich as she was able to charge at the bunt and gun down Powers for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Tarleton State as the Rattlers still lead 9-3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
With 12 premier institutions across 4 states, the members of the Heartland Conference are proud partners of their communities and NCAA Division II. We are committed to the academic and athletic success of our student athletes. The Heartland Conference offers a vibrant championship experience with schools that are nationally competitive, engaged with their communities, and supported by hundreds of thousands of fans who promote a positive game environment. To learn more about the Heartland Conference, visit us at heartlandsports.org. Choose Division II. Choose the Heartland Conference.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the 4th inning. Taylor Vidrine at the plate, batting for the Rattlers. It's Vidrine, Richter, and Wellman due up this half inning for the Rattlers. Once again, the umpires have to discuss because looks like they lost count of how many pitches, or what was the count. And after conferring, Taylor Vidrine able to advance to first with a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Haley Richter to the plate. Richter 2 for 2 so far this afternoon with an RBI each of those 2 at-bats. She takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. And Vidrine able to get the stolen base without any contest. So with nobody out, Vidrine now in scoring position for Haley Richter. Ringhausen deals. Now one outside. And a double play is turned, well executed by the Texans.
3-5 combination. That's the ring of Sydney Wellman.
A 6-3-5 double play as Vidrine tried to advance to third on the out at first, but got caught. And that'll bring up Sydney Wellman. Ringhausen deals that one outside. One ball, no strikes to Sydney Wellman, a junior from Brenham, Texas. Wellman 0 for 1. She also drew a walk. The 1-0 to Wellman, that one in there for a called strike. On deck for the Rattlers is Medina. And that is if Wellman is able to advance. The count now 1-2.
1-2 count.
That one in the dirt. Count all even at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs here. Rattlers lead by 6. An update from Dixon Stadium. Rattlers leading the University of Mary 2-0. The bottom of the 7th. Brooks Orton is at the plate with 2 outs. As that one lofted to center, and that is a 2-out single courtesy of Sydney Wellman. Well executed by Wellman as she's able to get aboard with 2 outs. And Medina now getting set to take her swing. She's 0 for 1, able to draw a walk. The entire field, for the most part, is covered with the shadow of the bleachers as the sun begins to set here in San Antonio, Texas. Although it is making it quite difficult for us here in the press booth to read the scoreboard behind the right center field wall. As the 1-0 pitch to Medina is just off the plate. 2-0 now to the sophomore from San Antonio Southwest. Was the everyday shortstop for the Rattlers last season, her freshman year, and as much as she's solid offensively, it's where, or it is how she plays defensively is what makes her such a viable piece for this Rattlers squad. Slow start to the season for Medina. She's batting 143, looking to boost those numbers just a bit. She takes that pitch for a strike. Count all even at 2-2. On deck is A-Rod. That one ripped down the line and left, but just foul. She got a hold of that one, but just a bit early on that pitch. If she gets another one like that, look for her to possibly stay back and keep that fair and in play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Medina. That one outside, count all full. As Wellman, she'll be going on this pitch over at first. Here's the 3-2. That one popped into the air and left. Going back at the track and caught for the final out of the inning by Powers. That'll do it for the bottom of the 4th. Rattlers 9, Tarleton State 3. You are watching the Rattler Invitational here on the Rattler Network. Top of the 5th inning about to get underway here. Melody Mays in the batter's box as she takes the first pitch from Hope Russell for a ball. 1-0. Brian Magluon right here in the press booth inside the softball stadium at the park at St. Mary's University. Thank you for spending some of your Friday night with me as the Rattlers play their first game of this 2015 Rattler Invitational. Rattlers, the number 4 team in the country, taking on Tarleton State, who currently trails 9-3 as that one fouled back off the shoulder of Rodriguez. That bottom of the 4th.
1-2 count.
First half inning where the Rattlers have not scored. As we reset here, Tarleton State took the early 1-0 lead. Rattlers answered right back as that one lofted to left. Vadrine will field it on a hop. And that's a base hit for Mays. Leadoff single for Mays, and that'll bring up StMU. But in the bottom of the first, Rattlers tacked on 5, courtesy of a grand slam from Alex Rodriguez. Tarleton State unable to respond in the top half of the second. Rattlers tack on 3 more to push their lead. The Texans able to reply with 2 runs in the top of the third. Rattlers add 1 in the bottom frame. And that's where we stand right now, 9-3, as Hope Russell still in the circle for St. Mary's. Mays over at first. She's got some decent speed as Sardalich playing well in. You could see Richter protecting the line as well as being close to the bag just in case A-Rod decides to try and gun down Mays over at first, who elects to go. A-Rod's throw is not in time. A stolen base for Melody Mays. Tarleton State will need more aggressive plays like that if they want to get back into this ball game. They're down by 6. A runner in scoring position is just what the doctor ordered. As StMU fouls that one back towards our direction. Count all full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Savannah StMU. StMU grounds that one over to the pitcher Russell, who tried to look Mays back over at second, but Mays got some speed as she's able to get to third on the ground out. 1 away here in the top of the 5th. Caitlin Conley at the plate. She takes the first pitch from Russell for a ball. 1-0. Rattler fans gear up for this upcoming, well, not so much upcoming anymore, but gear up for the softball and baseball seasons as they get underway by going to rattlergear.com. This month's special, you could get 10% off all sweaters and sweatshirts. That's rattlergear.com. So check it out today. The 1-1 pitch is in there. 1-2 now to Conley. That one lined foul. One and two the count. On deck is Allen. Russell deals that one low and outside. Now all even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. An update from Dixon Stadium. St. Mary's now leads 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning with 2 outs against the University of Mary. That one fouled away.
And battle continues. Count stays the same at 2-2.
The ball game over at Dixon Stadium. We got to see a glimpse of Matt McLean, who had a solid outing. As time is called, it was because of an extra ball in play. So as we get set to resume, runner over at third. Good block by Rodriguez as the count goes full.
Full count, 3-2.
Rattler fans, we remind you that following the conclusion of this game, give or take 30 or so minutes to prep the field, the Rattlers will be back in action. As that one grounded to Medina over at short. The throw is in time, and the runner will score from third as Tarleton stayed able to tack on another. 9-4 now the score as Mays was able to beat the throw home from Richter.
Number 16, Becky Allen.
Becky Allen now gets set to take her swings. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. First pitch swinging, and that one is through. That could go for extra bases. Fields launches, and Allen will get to second with a stand-up double with 2 outs.
Another hit for the Texans.
So the Texans able to prolong this inning.
Bring up Nico Wood.
Nico Wood first pitch low and inside to Wood from Russell. Allen over at second. The 1-0. That just misses. 2-0. That one popped high into the air. Nash settles under it to retire the side. Tarleton State able to tack on a run here in the top half of the 5th. But that's all they got. 9-4, the Rattlers still lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Rattlers due up next right here on the Rattler Network. Bottom of the 5th, about to get started here. Leading off for the Rattlers is Alex Rodriguez. Rattlers lead 9-4 over the Texans of Tarleton State. First pitch to A-Rod, just misses. 1-0 the count to Rodriguez, who's 1 for 1 so far. Reached on a walk her last time up. Her first time up, with one swing of the bat, set the tone for this ball game with a grand slam. And that one bounces in the dirt. Two 2-0 the count to Rodriguez. Last season, both Joe Rodriguez and myself harped on the fact that A-Rod, one of the more methodical hitters on this Rattler squad, as that pitch tails inside. 3-0 the count. The 3-0 to Rodriguez, right down the pipe. 3-1 now. Ringhausen came in for relief around the second inning. She's allowed only 2 hits and only 1 earned run. Here's the 3-1 to A-Rod. Back-to-back solid pitches from Ringhausen. Now the count all full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Three-2. That one low in the dirt, and A-Rod draws her second walk of the evening. And that'll bring up Danielle Nash. Ringhausen deals. Nash showing bunt, pulls it back, and won't do anything as she's called for a strike. Rodriguez over at first. Nash at the dish. Fields on deck. Nash showing bunt again. Tried to lay one down. Unable to. Count 0-2 now. The 0-2 to Nash, and that one low. 1-2.
1-2, Joe.
That one fouled away. Nash tried to lay a bunt down and
Force is made at second base.
force out at second as the double play was not turned. A-Rod was able to break it up.
Right fielder, Hannah Fields.
And now that'll bring up Fields. Nash at second, Fields at the plate. Fields 1 for 2 in this ball game. That pitch tailed inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Over at Dixon Stadium, it is the top of the 9th inning. Tying run is at the plate for the University of Mary with 1 out. They have a runner over at third. Rattlers lead by 3. Lead 3-1, excuse me. On the mound for St. Mary's is John Lynch. As time is called. Home plate umpire trying to dust off the home plate. The 2-0. Nash goes and Nash will reach without a throw being made.
Still 1 count.
The 2-1. Ringhausen deals. Fields tried to lay a bunt down, but will go for a strike. Over at Dixon now, the score is 3-2 in favor of the Rattlers, who are 2 outs away from putting the game away. Although the University of Mary making things tough as Fields grounds one over to first. Taking it to the bag herself is Menchaca as Nash will advance over to third with 2 outs now.
At the ring, Nicole Sarling. 2-8.
Runner on third, rather. Sarlich takes the first pitch. 0-1 the count. Sarlich gets a hold of one. That one is deep to right, and it will fall for extra bases. Nash scores. Sarlich rounding, and she will reach third with a stand-up triple.
Another RBI for the Rattlers.
Nash scored easily from third. And Sardalich adds to her stellar totals as time is called. Hannah Michael gets set. Rattlers putting up a 10 spot on the board.
Hannah Michael, you better.
That one low and outside, 1-0. This is the third time this season the Rattlers have scored 10 or more runs. Last time they did it was during the Southeastern Oklahoma Regional Invitational. First game against Texas A&M Commerce. Rattlers scored 13 in 5 innings. The game before, they took on Central Oklahoma and they won 10-9 in a shootout. His count goes to 3-0. On deck for the Rattlers is Vidrine. That is if Michael can get on. The 3-0. That one in there. 3-1 now the count. And we do have a final over at Dixon Stadium. The Rattlers improve their record to 6-4. They win 3-2 over the University of Mary. The winning pitcher, Matt McLean, who allowed only one hit, walked only one, and struck out 3.
That's going to bring up Taylor Vidrine.
Final out of the game was John Lynch striking out Corey Dixon of the University of Mary. As time is called.
Your boy's been a Christian quite a few years. Victory and faith brought a fail in my ears. I heard a lot of words that have tickled in the ears. That's why I praise God for the word of being here.
And while both teams are in a conference, Rattler fans, we'd like to take this time out to invite you to join us on social media. Like us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up. Facebook.com/St. Mary's Rattlers. Follow us on Twitter under the handle @St. Mary's Rattlers. And you can also find us on Instagram under the handle @St. Mary's Rattlers. And check out the latest episode of Talkin' Rattlers, where we take you back to the chili cook-off for the baseball home opener. And you can check that out at rattlerathletics.com. And for more videos on demand, you could subscribe to our YouTube page, youtube.com/St. Mary's Rattlers, as Vidrine takes the first pitch for strike 1. Softball under the lights here in San Antonio, Texas. The temperature beginning to drop just a bit as the wind starting to go from right to left on your screen. And Vidrine takes that pitch for a strike, 0-2. And I think that brief timeout was just to allow Ringhausen to gather herself and maybe catch her breath. The 0-2 pitch. Badrine pokes that one. That one grounded to second, and the throw beats Taylor by half a step. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 5th. Rattlers add to their lead. They now lead 10-4 as you're watching Rattler softball on the Rattler Network.
So we're going to top
10-4 is the score here at the softball stadium inside the park at St. Mary's University. Brian Magliuan calling the action here as the first pitch from Hope Russell is in there for strike one. Solid outing thus far from Hope Russell, allowing 3 earned runs on 4 hits, walking only 4 and striking out 2. That pitch grounded to Medina at short. She had to gun it, and she does. She gets the runner out as Stogsdill unable to beat the throw. What a laser by Medina. And that's one away.
I was ready first base. That's going to bring up Erica Menchaca.
At the plate now, Menchaca. First pitch to her is outside. 1-0. Second pitch outside yet again. 2-0 to Menchaca. Wayland on deck. As Russell deals, and that one off the plate yet again. 3-0. Rattler fans, we remind you that following this one, the end of day 1 here in the Rattler Invitational will come to a close with St. Mary's taking on Oklahoma Christian University. Check that. Central Oklahoma University. The University of Central Oklahoma. I'll get it eventually. As that one popped into the air, and Fields able to track it down for out number 2. And just so that it's clear, following this game, St. Mary's will be taking on Central Oklahoma. First pitch originally slated for 6, but obviously not anymore. First pitch for that game, slated for 30 minutes, about 30 minutes at the conclusion of this one. The 1-2 in the dirt, able to be dug out by Rodriguez. Tomorrow, these same two teams will face off at around 2 o'clock. And it'll be a special day because both games that the Rattlers are playing will be in tribute to former Rattler volleyball player Michaela Bass. Tomorrow, Battle for Bear Day. All the sports teams paying homage to the former volleyball player Michaela Bass, who is suffering from illness. So we invite all of you to come out to the ballpark, to the park at St. Mary's, and show your support for Michaela and the Rattler community as well. As now we have runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Pitch from Russell. Paints the outside corner. Strike 1. Here's the 0-1 from Hope. That one sails high. 1-1 the count as the wind starting to really pick up.
1-1 the count.
As you can see in the back part of the screen, American flag waving from right to left. That one just misses. 2-1 now. Three and 1 now the count. Russell awaiting the signal. That one swung on and lifted to deep center. Plenty of room, however, for Nash as she makes the catch for the final out of the inning. Tarleton State Strand 2 runners on base as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Rattlers lead 10-4. Bottom of the 6th inning. Rattlers lead 10-4. Brian Maglio on here calling the shots. Or at least I think I am, here at the softball stadium inside the park at St. Mary's University, as Richter takes the first pitch of the inning for a ball. Rather a strike according to our scoreboard. We'll check on that. Nonetheless, one pitch has already been thrown. Still in the circle is Ringhausen as she delivers. Low and in the dirt. 1-1 the count to the Hondo, Texas native, Haley Richter. On deck is Sydney Wellman, and then in the hole is Medina. The 1-1 pitch from Ringhausen, and backhanded stop, but Richter charging down the line, able to reach for her third hit of the ball game. 3 for 4 now for Richter.
Richter gets on with the base hit. The 5-6 hole brings up Sydney Wellman.
Wellman at the plate now. Wellman takes that pitch for a ball. 1-0. And looks like there will be a pinch runner over at first. Kiana Cisneros will pinch run for Haley Richter, who kind of was joking over to Coach Fields as she was walking to the dugout that she could run the bases herself. And sitting next to me in the broadcast booth, but getting a well-deserved rest of the night off, Joe Rodriguez. I don't know if you guys could hear him, but he said the pizza's good. So special thanks to all the softball parents that hooked it up for all of us here who are working this Rattler Invitational, as Wellman pops out for the first out of the inning.
That's going to bring up Miranda Medina.
Miranda Medina now digging in. And for those of you just joining us, Rattler baseball victorious in both their games against the University of Mary across the street over at Dixon Stadium, as Medina tried to lay a bunt down but goes foul. Joey Baseball was on the call for both those games. And following the conclusion of this one, we'll have one more softball game. Rattlers will take the field once again against Central Oklahoma. First pitch slated for approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one. A-Rod on deck. The 0-2 to Medina, and that one just misses. 1-2 now.
One ball, two strikes.
Here's the 1-2. That one grounded to short, potential double play. That's one. And Medina quick down the line, and no throws made over to first, as that'll be out number 2.
For 2 away, and Raptors on first. Having with double deuce, catcher Alex Rodriguez.
And A-Rod gets set to dig in. Big day at the plate for A-Rod. She's walked her last 2 times up, but the one hit she did get was a grand slam in the bottom of the first. That set the tone for the rest of this ball game as the Rattlers lead by 6 now. Cisneros over at first. Rodriguez at the plate, 2 outs. First pitch in there for called strike 1. Second pitch just outside. Count even at a ball and a strike. On deck for the Rattlers is Nash. Fields in the hole. Cisneros goes, and the pitch, rather the throw to second, goes into the outfield as Cisneros was able to break up the play. 2 balls, 1 strike to A-Rod.
With A-Rod having a 2-1 count on her.
A-Rod able to get a piece of that one. Count all even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Deuces across the board. 22 at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ringhausen deals. That one outside. Full count.
Full count, 3-2.
Here's a 3-2 to Rodriguez. She swings at that one, and it gets by the shortstop, and that will be an RBI single for Rodriguez as time is called. And Tarleton State's coach asking for an interference called on Medina. Medina was trying to get from second to third as the ball was hit over to Wayland at short. And for the second time this entire ball game, a conference between the umpires determining whether or not a Rattler runner is safe, and they ruled that the runner is out. And now Coach Fields wants yet another explanation. Second time this ball game that Tarleton State has, in essence, thrown a red flag, and the run does not count. So the score will remain 10-4. Tarleton State getting the benefit of the call but the scoreboard shows otherwise as they trail by 6 heading into the top of the 7th. They have one last chance to make this a ball game as you're watching Rattler Softball on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Top of the 7th inning, last chance for the Texans to extend this ball game. Rattlers lead 10-4. Brian Maglio on here calling the action. Thank you for spending part of your Friday night with all of us here at the Rattler Network. We still got one more game following this as the Rattlers will take on Central Oklahoma. But first, Rattlers need to take care of business here. They lead by 6 and are 3 outs away from improving to 12-1 on the year. The number 4 team in the nation, St. Mary's, showing why they are so, as Hope Russell able to find the plate. 1-2 now the count. Pitch just misses outside. Stetch at the plate. Count all even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And to all of you boxing fans out there, it is finally on as that one grounded to second. The throw is in time. Out number 1 as Michael able to make the play. The boxing fans, the fight that you and I and all of us in the world have been waiting for is happening on May 2nd in Las Vegas. MGM Grand will play host to Mayweather versus Pacquiao, as the fight was made official earlier today. Floyd Mayweather undefeated. That one lifted to left, and Vadrine able to track it down on the warning track. And that's 2 away. I'm not much of a betting man, but according to Vegas odds, Mayweather holds a 3-1 edge over Manny Pacquiao, who, before he blossomed into this international phenomenon, his first super fight, you could say, was against Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy, and he wasn't favored to win. until he shocked the world and annihilated De La Hoya in 8 rounds. In essence, causing the Golden Boy to retire. An exciting fight. I'm pretty sure in the coming days we'll have more to talk about. As that pitch tails inside. 1 ball, 1 strike
1-1 count.
to Becca Allen. On deck for the Texans is Nika Wood. And the hole is Michaela Stogsdill. And with 2 outs, here in the top of the 7th, Rattlers 1 out away from putting this one to bed. 2-1 the count. As night has fallen upon us, the temperature has dropped as swing and a miss. 2-2. Rattlers 1 strike away from
And with that swing,
finishing this ball game.
2-2. Hewitt.
Start of the day, temperatures were upwards to about 82 degrees. It has dropped to 76 with a nice breeze as that one fouled off. Count will remain at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Allen trying to keep the Texans into the ball game. That one lofted to center, and Nash will take care of it as the Rattlers take care of business. The final 10-4, Rattlers victorious over the Texans.
Is scheduled in the next 20 or so minutes between St. Mary's Rattlers.
So a good start for the Rattlers here in the Rattler Invitational 2015 as they easily dispatch of Tarleton State 10-4. The highlight of the ball game came early with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. A grand slam by Alex Rodriguez put the game to bed early on as the rest was a formality. Rattlers win by 6. They'll be in action in 20 or so minutes against Central Oklahoma. These 2 teams faced each other earlier on in the season. A shootout to say the least over at Tucson, Arizona. Rattlers victorious 10-9 back on February 8th. The rematch will be coming up shortly. You can catch it right here on the Rattler Network. But for right now, this has been Brian Maglione. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in just a bit.
Tucson Sportsmanship.